Hello and welcome to the Growing Green podcast. Your host, Jeremiah Jennings, is the owner of Growing Green Landscapes in Birmingham, Alabama, and has a passion for growing the entrepreneurship community for those who are young in business. Being a business owner isn't easy, especially in the early years, and that's why in this show we dive into a wide range of topics covering all the challenges small business owners deal with. Even if your company is generating $1 million or more, the stories from our great guest and Jeremiah's own firsthand experiences will propel your business forward. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the Growing Green podcast. We are excited to come to you from Milwaukee, Wisconsin today, and you're going to see a lot of this. I talk with my hands. Usually I'm not on video. I'm usually behind the camera or behind the microphone and not in front of the camera. But I'm excited today. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I've never been here before. I'm here with my good buddy Matthew Hawk here. Matthew's Mowing. You probably know him from Instagram. You know him. You love him. You're a Skag guy, right?
Absolutely.
Skag all day. So how you doing, buddy?
Good. It's been a good weekend so far, or a good week so far.
Yeah.
Just came in last night. Today's Wednesday. It came in on Tuesday.
What are we doing here?
We are at Pipeline 2025, which is pretty cool. They're introducing all the brand new tools for Milwaukee tools. So it's basically like first looks at everything that's new coming out. So pretty excited for this.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big event. I'm excited to see what's coming. Let me get my phone here. It's going to die on me. I'm excited to see what's coming out in the next little bit. I don't think there's a ton of new stuff coming for OPE, but we're going to get to see and put our hands on a lot of things I haven't used. Like, I've personally never used the Milwaukee, like the little hatchet or anything. I have used the chainsaw. We have one of the chainsaws. Chainsaw is sick.
It is.
It's super nice. But I'm also excited to bring and use some more of just the product that's like not necessarily OPE, but like, because here's the thing is, you know this as good as I do, in our businesses, we're using impacts, right? We're changing blades.
Exactly.
We're using grinders to sharpen it. Like, we're using things that aren't necessarily just OPE specific. And so I'm excited for that. Thanks, Milwaukee, for putting on a great event.
Absolutely.
The whole town is just painted red, I feel like. Everywhere you go, like brand hard. I mean, they have cups, they have all this stuff. So it's been really good. Really nice hotel. Right out that window right there is the Milwaukee Bucks Arena, which is really cool. I told Matt this, that I wish I can see Giannis walk by, but he has not made an appearance yet. So
we're not that popular. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, he's not pulling up to our event, but it feels amazing. This weather. I won't have this until, and you either.
Yeah.
Like you either. I did not realize how similar Ohio weather is to us. Like, you don't get it as long. I don't think. Like, you don't get as hot of a summer for as length of a time.
Right.
But you get hot.
Yeah. Like, and I think it was beginning of June. We were like 120, 130 heat indexes. Now, it wasn't as much humidity at that point, so it was tolerable.
Yeah.
But I don't care if people say dry heat or humid heat.
It's still hot.
It's hot.
It's still an oven.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
So, like, I came from, I think it was like 90 to 95 degrees when I left the house, and, 6 hours due west and a little bit north, and it's 70, I think it got up to like 72 today, and it's supposed to be 75 tomorrow and sunshine.
No, it was literally cold. I got here, I was like, I need pants. Like, I'm not used to this.
I only packed one pair of pants thinking like, I won't need those because it's going to be hot. It's like 75 is the high. I was like, this is perfect.
I'm considering wearing pants tomorrow. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, if the sun's out, it'll feel good, but it was cloudy and windy today. It was kind of cold. But weather, because we visited the Almonds a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And we were up there hanging out. It was like 3 weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago. I don't remember, but dude, the amount of rain y'all had in 4 days.
Yeah.
It rained for 4 days straight. We were there and it rained the entire time we were there almost.
Yeah.
It was so humid. It was miserable.
Yeah. We got, actually this year was one of the...
Y'all had the same amount of rain.
Yeah. Like more, I guess, normal for us. Like last year we had for like 2 months straight, it was completely dry, like to the point where everything just turned brown.
Yeah.
And so that was really hard to deal with as, a lawn care business owner, because when everything dries up, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
But it was kind of nice this year, up until like within the past couple weeks. It's been like that nice rain every like 2 to 3 days.
It's enough to keep it growing.
Exactly. Yeah. And it was nice and green even when I left. So
yeah, ours isn't as finicky. Our turf is not near as finicky as y'all's cool season stuff. Like as long as we get a good shower once every 7 days, it keeps us going. Like we're good. And so,
which you've got a lot of Bermuda, right?
Tons of Bermuda.
Bermuda's like heat loving.
Oh yeah, and it loves heat. As long as it's got a little bit of water, it's got to have a little bit of water. But if it gives a little bit of water, you're good. That's I'm like, folks don't understand. It's the opposite for us. Most people are like, we burn out in July and August. I'm like, that is peak growth season. Like, it doesn't grow harder than it does then.
Exactly.
Especially if you have irrigated lawns. So,
wow. Yeah.
It is, I
am definitely not Bermuda by choice. Though.
Yeah, for sure. Are you Kentucky Blue? What do you have? Tall fescue?
Yep, mostly Kentucky bluegrass, fescue, and weed mixture.
So how far does like Kentucky Blue go up? Does it run all the way up to like Canada? Like, is that a thing?
As far as I know, like even up into Alaska and stuff like that. Like
really?
Up into.
So that is like the cool season grass.
Basically, yeah. I mean, you have mostly everything is Kentucky bluegrass or fescue. It depends on basically like the application. Some of them are more for high traffic areas, like sports fields, things like that. And it's more like a wide blade or a thin blade and how long it grows and how quick it grows. And it's also kind of, I won't say similar to Bermuda, but it's kind of that, like, one will grow more of like a thicker patch, whereas the other one's more of just a thicker blade to kind of take over that area.
So your soccer fields and sports field, like, can you cut it short? You just have to cut it more often?
You can cut it short.
Because like our crap, Bermuda, we're cutting our sports fields on like 1.5 to 2 inches.
Yeah, if we cut bluegrass and fescue on 2, like right now, it would be browned out. Like even
if it's irrigated, or if it's irrigated, it would be fine.
If it's irrigated and
like
you would give it enough,
field.
Yeah, if you would irrigate it and give it enough like loving stuff, so like fertilizers and all that kind of stuff, it'd be fine.
Okay.
Especially golf courses and things like that around town. They do fertilize them like crazy.
Yeah.
So they do. It does pretty good, but you have to treat it right because it will not tolerate the heat. So.
Yeah. Well, good deal. Well, now that we're 10 minutes in the show, tell everybody who you are, man. Tell me about your business, what you've done the last couple of years. I mean, we were talking about earlier your story. I didn't know like the full startup story and kind of how you got into where you are today.
Yeah. So my name is Matthew Hawk. I run Matthew's Mowing. I'm out of Mount Vernon, Ohio. So normally when I say Mount Vernon, Ohio, if people don't know where it is, I'm about an hour northeast of Columbus. So Columbus is basically the hub of Ohio.
How far is that from Marysville?
Marysville, not too far. Probably half hour maybe.
Oh, pretty close
like
then.
That.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have a friend who lives in Marysville. So
okay.
We went up there when I was in high school and visited.
Yep. So, I started my business back in 2016 or so. I had been doing part-time before that. I had a full-time job at that point. And that was, I was telling Jeremiah earlier, there was a lot of things where it was just a toxic environment. And it was also a area where we had a lot of landscapers come in because we were also a small engine, small equipment repair place. And so every time they'd come in, I would be like looking out the door and I'd see these guys roll in, nice trucks, trailers, full mower setup, blowers, trimmers, the whole 9 yards. And it was just like, man, I want to be that guy. I want to be that person because I just love the outdoors. I love the green industry. And my kind of like side story is my grandpa, he passed away of cancer before I was born. And he actually kind of like, I got that from him. In a way, because I really do enjoy that from him. He was always the person that had the most pristine flower beds. He was always the person who had like the best yard. He always kept the mowers in tip-top shape. Blades were always sharp because he wanted that good appearance to his property.
Yeah.
So my grandma has always told me, she said, if you would have been around when your grandpa was around, she said, you two would have been like all the time together. So that's kind of my little bit of backstory. I've now been in business. This coming year will be 10 years altogether, 7 years full-time.
That's awesome, man. So in Ohio, you start your business like that. I mean, what does the last 7 years look like? I mean, right now you're still running solo with some part-time help, right? Mm-hmm. So walk me through that journey a little bit because, I think it's good to get different perspectives. Right now we're in a bit of a growth phase for us, like trying to add team members, add crews, things like that. Everyone does something different that fits them, and so I like hearing from all different kind of aspects. What is that like? Have you grown past solo a couple guys and come back down? What is your journey been like in that aspect?
Yeah,
as far as size wise.
Sure, I have. I've grown up to. I had one guy and was going to hire a second guy.
Yeah.
When I first initially was going to start out, people were asking me like, okay, how do you want to, how big do you want to get in business?
Yeah.
Like, what's your main goal? And I always said, I want to have 3 trucks. I want to have 2 mow crews and a landscape crew.
Yeah.
And that was always my goal. And then as I've learned more from guys in the green industry who have done this before, I'm one of those, I'm a hands-on learner. I didn't go to college. I didn't go for business or anything like that. And I'm one of those people that I would rather go to someone's shop and go work on their crew for a day just to sightsee things and observe how things are run. And what I noticed the most of was people said, when we got to that certain point where we were we're going to keep growing and growing and growing, it got worse and worse and worse. But they got to that point and they said when they started really narrowing their service area and narrowing the services that they did, less became more.
Yeah.
So they started, getting less customers, but the revenue was still there because the customers that they had wanted them to do more things.
Yeah. And
they had time for those things, and it became a better outcome, I guess you could say. And so that's kind of what I've tried to do. Even, Jeremiah, you told me, 4 employees?
Yeah.
So
we had 6 or 7 peak this year.
So you understand the headaches of, when you have employees, guys call off for the craziest things. I'm sick, I'm coughing, I've been up all night, whatever. And it's are they really truthful in that? Probably not, And so it's hard to find good help, and also guys who, treat the equipment with respect, treat your customers with respect, make sure that the property is done to what your standard would be also.
Yeah.
And I think, to me, that was one of my biggest things was I do have one guy part-time this year. He helps me out 1 day a week. He's off from his normal job. And that, to me, is good for me.
Yeah.
I tried to grow to that point, but it got to the point, even with just one guy and going to hire another guy, it got to the headache point. I was guys calling off and all this kind of stuff. And I was maybe the less is more is something better. And so that's what I've kind of tried to do in my business.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic. And I honestly, I want to kind of dive into this a little bit because I think you're the kind of dude that would have this conversation and openly kind of go back and forth a little bit with it.
Yeah.
Because I haven't had this conversation with anyone since we've kind of transitioned into this phase in our business of let's add, let's grow, let's take this on.
Sure.
Because that was the mentality that I had for a long time. And this, again, let me preface this, guys, but if you're listening, watching, whatever, you individually, I don't mean what anyone's doing is right or wrong, right? But I do think that what I've seen the last couple years and getting around circles of people that have grown larger companies, it's at the end of the day, it all comes back to you, right?
Yeah.
It rises and falls on what you, the leader, is doing. And so when I sit here and say, or hear people say, and this is, again, I'm not just talking, but I want to banter a little bit in this conversation.
Exactly. Yeah.
I want to have this. I want to have a little pushback here, play devil's advocate, because I think that, again, you can come at this with an open mind and not be defensive. Because I want to actually talk through this and hear someone's perspective that this is kind of where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Not to prove a point, but to get both sides of the story, because I know for me that I am the bottleneck in our company. If we are growing, we're having issues, that's on me. The more that I do it, the more that I see okay, I'm not doing this right, I'm not doing that right. That is on me to fix. And so have you gotten to the point where when you say it's hard to find guys, right? Or anyone says it's hard to find guys, my question to that would be, have you ever really dove into building a hiring process, putting your vision and your mission out there for your company, what you want to do, your core values, and hire off of those things?
Sure.
Because that's where I feel like you're gonna have a call out, right? You're gonna have people call out. That happens. We had a guy out sick for the last 2 weeks almost, but it just happens, right? It's just life. But that guy's a pretty reliable dude. He does very good mowing, and it's a huge part of our maintenance department. But the people that I hire now, they don't really make it through the process if they're not going to be that good fit, right?
Exactly.
But you do have to decide what you want for your company.
Yeah.
That's what it starts with.
Exactly.
And so, like, if you don't want that, then I get that. But the blanket statement that I do, like, kind of push back on is, like, when people say it's hard to find good people.
Right.
Because, like, that's not... yes and no. Like,
Yeah.
like we were proved today at this Milwaukee event.
Yeah.
There were how many? 30 or 40 kids, essentially, out there, young people that are going to be tradesmen, right?
Yeah.
They're learning their skill. Like, they want to work.
Yeah.
There is a workforce out there that wants to work. It's just, are we doing the job as leaders and business owners to actually train them?
Right.
Right? How can we expect good from somebody who doesn't know what good looks like?
Yeah. And that's one of the biggest things too, is like, you know, even though I go to events that, you know, like Milwaukee and stuff like that, you know, we're here for the tools and we're here for, you know, whatever that event all has to offer. But the other thing that I look into, especially as a business owner, is looking into how is their company culture. You know,
Dude, so all I've looked at today.
Exactly. I'm like, what do they provide? You know, and like I work with other companies too. You know, I'm a brand ambassador, if you want to call it that. And you know, with these other companies, you know, they're saying, hey, you know, I've got a guy here. He works. You know, he's really good. He shows up for work, and he's been here for 35 years. And this guy over here's been here for 40 years, and this guy over here's been here for 25.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do you keep these guys and they want to come and work? And like I tell people all the time, if you do a job that you want to do, and that's one of the biggest things. Like I'm talking to some of these guys, you know, for Milwaukee and that work there, and one of their biggest things was they got put into a position that was what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of an interesting spot of like, you know, some people just say, I just need a job because I got to make money, because I got to support my kids and my family and whatever. But it's not really their passion. Now you can train a guy to do, you know, job A, B, and C. But I really think like, does that guy actually want to do lawn care? Does that guy actually want to do this? Because, I mean, let's face it, we all know we can walk into McDonald's, Wendy's, whatever. The people in there don't want to be at that job.
Yeah.
But also, if you look at it, we were talking about earlier, company culture. What does the culture look like? And I think that's, like we were talking about, the first step is you have to have a good culture. Because
and that culture starts with you as one person, right? If you're a solo guy right now watching or listening, that culture starts with you.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you have to embody that.
Yeah, if you always come into work and you have a bad attitude, who's going to have a bad attitude? All the employees around you. I mean, it's kind of that, like, it sheds off on everybody else, you know, and it's like, I always call it the dog hair effect. You know, if you bump up against somebody who has dog hair, you're going to get dog hair on you. It's kind of the same process.
That's good. I've never heard that analogy. That's pretty good.
It's kind of the same process. It's like, okay, so if you know, have a bad attitude, if you're grumbling about something, if you're upset about something, that's going to rub off on everybody else. And I think, like, even though I'm not to that point to grow a big enough company to actually have, like, the core values and things like that.
No.
I know. But it's like, I have those things in my mind, like I'm setting them up, but I've never put them down on pen and paper and never actually made them fully, like, set up.
So you know the answer.
Correct. Because it's almost been me.
Yeah.
And so to me, I'm like, that's kind of my first thing, is I need to do that.
Yeah.
And I need to put that into place. And I've always told the guys who have come to work for me what those things are.
Yeah.
But it's not like, I don't have a shop or anything like set up, you know.
So that makes it hard.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't really have that set up. So I kind of just make it like, in my mind, present it to them, and then that's what it is.
Yeah.
But if it's not something they can see every day, if it's not something they remember every day, and it's not stuck in their mind, they're going to forget it.
I would love to know the statistics on, like, what % of the population are, like, visual learners, and like visual effects are what, like, really molds them.
Yeah.
Because I'm the same way. Like, I want to see something, and, you know, it's easy to, but again, it's kind of an excuse, right? It's easy to get caught up in, like, oh, if I had a shop, it would be this. I could do that, right? It would be this much easier. Because that's where I'm at this year. I was like, if we had a shop, when I had 7 guys showing up, I was like, having a shop would be so much easier. Like, we'd all go inside, we'd have our meetings. It's like, yes, but no. Like, if you can't do that in whatever setup you have now, if you can't make something work, you're not going to make it work when you have a shop. And so, like, that is 100%. You answered your own problem right there.
Yeah.
Like, it has to go down in writing, right? And so, for guys, and this is not me talking to you, this is me talking to the audience that are in this boat of like, I do want to grow and I don't know what to do. You know what to do.
Yeah.
You just told me what you know what to do, right?
Yeah.
Guys, you're listening, you're like, what do I do? How do I go from 1 to 2? It's like, you have to do exactly what Matthew just said. You have to have your core values. You have to have these things written out. But not only do you have to have them in your mind, you have to get them actually on paper, right? And that is put it in ChatGPT and let it spit you out a form and you print it off. Like, it's not hard nowadays. Like, let it polish it, print it off, and put it in a binder, right?
Yeah.
And you have to have a hiring process from day one, right? You don't, because what's going to happen is you're going to, and I'm jumping to a conclusion here, you can correct me if I'm wrong, over your past years of hiring, way back in the day when you didn't really know what you may have been doing, like, you probably were just like, here's a job, it's $15 an hour, come weed eat, come work, whatever, right? Like, that's probably a pretty good assumption.
Yeah, do you know how to string trim? Yeah. Okay, great, you're hired.
Awesome, right? And so it's like, so for me, like, I built this hiring process this past year, and I'm happy. I'll give it to anybody. It's not the end all be all, but it is a solid process, start to finish, on things that I know that we've done this year that have worked. And so, like, I'll give it to you if you want it, DM me, whatever. I'll send it to you. But it's like, I just drew this thing. I literally drew it out in my notes, and I was like, this is it. This is our process, start to finish, a funnel from the top down to the bottom. And if you're hiring one guy, you have to have that process in place, because that's how you bring someone in with that. Like, you present with them and say, okay, like, my go-to is always, I ask pre-interview questions. Like, you have 10 or 15 questions you have to answer before I even consider interviewing you. I'm not wasting my time on someone that's not going to be a good fit, right? So I have those questions, and then we go through that, and then we have the interview, and we talk core values. And like, you don't get into our company anymore unless you're a good fit. And that's where I think the solution to your problem, or it's not a problem for you. If you want to be there, you want to be there. A lot of guys that do consider it a problem, that say, I can't grow because I can't find good people. It's not me being pushy to say you're saying it's a problem, right? Because if you're saying that's your excuse for not growing, it's a problem.
And I feel like that's also the excuse that people say, because they don't know where that next step is. Like, they don't 100%. Know how to implement it. Yeah. So it's like, well, I just can't find good help.
That's and it's like, and that's why I always push back on that statement. Yeah. So I'm like, that's a load of crock. Like, it's not true. You're either using it as an excuse to cover up something else, or you don't know the process of how to get good people. Yeah. Which is understandable. Yeah, transparently, I didn't know how to get good people 12 months ago. Like, I didn't know the process. I didn't know how to actually do it. Yeah. But like, we're recording this fall of 25. Going into 26, like, we will have the best team we've ever had, hands down. Like, I don't even think about it. Yeah. Because we have the process in place to do it, and that's got to start with one person. When the owner says, I want to hire people, start like this, and this is how you get your number two. This is how you get that guy that's like, okay, they take that mow route from you, and you can go start doing other things. Because that's how the natural progression, right? You get a good number two, he can take over the mow route, you can get him a helper, you go start doing landscapes, right? And then it all continues. That's how it always happens. Yeah. And so the option is there. You just have to be able to actually sit there and put in the work. And it's not even putting in that much work. It's just taking the discipline to say, these are our core values, we got to stick to them. Yeah.
And I think a lot of times too, like I mentioned before, people just don't know what that next step is. Like, okay, how do I implement that? Like, can I just stick it into Google? Yeah. Like, half the time, yes, you can find that information. Yep. But like, for me, like I mentioned, I'm a visual learner. And so actually, like, just sitting here talking with other guys in the green industry, you're just a little bit above where I am. Yeah. And then, I've talked to guys who are like double where we are. Yep. And it's like, not just only can you talk to the people who are like around you in the same age group or the same, business mindset, talk to some of these guys. I always tell people, no matter what, somebody told me one time, find yourself a business mentor. Oh, it does not have to be anybody in your specific industry. No. Find yourself a business mentor that you can trust, that will show you all these things and will help you out in business. Yeah. And you're, heads and tails above everybody else at that point.
Yeah, you should never be the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
Under any circumstances, right?
Yep.
Like I never want to be in a room that I'm the smartest person in.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
If that's it, I gotta find a new room, right? Like literally, if I'm speaking for some event or whatever, like there should be someone in there that's smarter than me, right? Because I'm not a know-it-all. I don't know everything, right? Now there are some things that I've figured out up to this point, but I'm still learning a lot of things that I've done wrong, like a lot of things, and so it's one of those things. So what does growth look like? So now that we've unpacked that a little bit, like you're 7 years in full time.
Yeah.
And there's no right or wrong answer to this. I just truly want to know, like, what does the next 5 years look like for you? Like, you know your answers. So like, what does it look like?
Yeah. And I mean, mine might be kind of like odd from everybody else's, and it sounds, every time I say it, it's received one of two ways. But for me, I'm one of those people, I like to work.
Yeah.
Now, it sounds crazy, like, because people are like, well, if you're going to grow a business, you got to step out of the business, and it's like, I'm not at that point yet, but I'm also one of those people, I like to work.
Yeah.
So for this point in time in my life, I am a solo owner operator, and, doing everything isn't so bad, and I feel like I'm kind of in a less is more stage.
Yeah.
So, if I told you basics of like how many people I service every single week, what I do on a weekly basis, it would not look anywhere near like what a bigger company would look like. But I scaled myself back after realizing, like I mentioned earlier, that bigger wasn't always better. And I've scaled myself back to that point where now I'm making the same revenue that I did before with less headaches, less people, but I'm more of a do more on each person's property than do more properties.
So I think what that gives you is a place to scale from when you're ready now, right? Because so a mistake that we made, and I've been open about it on the show, is like we tried to grow a second maintenance crew before this first route was like profitable enough to do it. We were very schedule heavy. We were way work too thin. We had to have second crew, right? Because we had so many yards to do, but our revenue was not matching that. And so that's a big mistake that we made, and we're dealing with the after effects of now, of like that was just. It's what you learn in business, right? Like I don't have a business degree, you're just part of life, and so
you're gonna trip and fall flat on your face a couple times, and you're gonna go, all right, we're not gonna do that again.
Exactly. So what you have done is like you have eliminated some quote unquote headaches and things like that, but what you've done is you've given yourself like a good platform to say, okay, now when I am ready to grow, like I'm making good profit on these lawns. Every yard we bring on has to be this way, like that, and that's what I would say to anyone that's out there trying to grow is like, if you can get to that ground zero like you're at now, don't stray from it. Like this is where we stand. This is what we do. If you want to be our client, we do these things, and that's it.
Yep. And I think one of the big things for me was, like you said, I'm at that stage where I'm like, okay, I'm good. Like, I can build off of that. I'm on step one right now. And even though it's later on in business, step one isn't like, okay, I'm just starting out. It's like step one, and then I can put step two on, step three, if I want to grow to those points. But figuring things out in step one before you build step 2 and 3, because otherwise your stairs are going to fall.
You're going to build step 2 and 3 and then go back to 1 or minus 1.
Yep. Yeah. And that's like we said, that's business. You're going to fall flat on your face 2, 3, 10, 100 times. Yeah. But each time you do that, you figure out why you did that, and now all of a sudden, 7 years in business, I didn't figure that out overnight. Yeah. It took some rough times. Yeah, it does not happen overnight. That's 100% true. That is no question about that. Like, you are not going to figure it out at once. It's going to be a learning game. You're going to lose money along the way. You're going to mess up. And when you do, you just get back up and keep on going. Yep. Like, you literally just don't give up. And I was watching a David Goggins thing today, and somebody asked a question of like, what do you do when you're in the middle of failing, right? You're in the dead middle of failing. How do you keep going? And he's like, he just tells himself just what if, like continuously, what if? And it made me stop and think like, he's right. Like,
what if we build that company that we employ 100 people and 100 people buy homes and grow families? And what if we have so much revenue that we can give to whatever charity we want to, right? And like fund salaries for ministers and things like that. Like, what if that was us? Yeah. And so when we are in the suck, and it's like, I could just hang this up and go get a job, right? Like, you just ask yourself, what if? What if you do this? What if you continue this? And so, I don't know, it put an interesting perspective on things for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like in business too, there are the guys who are like, when they say the what if, they're like, they want to jump headfirst into something major, and they're going to do it. Other guys, I'm one of them, is more like, I want to jump into that, but I want to figure out everything about that I possibly can, and then say, all right, I'm going to start tiptoeing and walk into that.
Yeah, and I think you have to find a balance there of like, if you want to scale, you can't tiptoe into everything. Like, you're going to have to take risks that are, and the more you grow, the faster you're going to see. You have to make a decision like this, like really quick. Yeah. Because there's going to be decisions and opportunities come across your plate that are like, it's now or never, like take it or leave it. Mm-hmm. And you're going to take some and it's going to be good. You're going to take some and it's going to suck. But like, you have to be able to make that decision quick. Some of the best leaders that I know can flip a switch and make a decision like that. Yep. And so, but you can't be all that way either. You have to have data. You have to be able to back those things. Yeah. And so I think that I have done that. I am transparently one of those like just make a decision and go type guys, and I'll do that without the data that I need. And so it will come back to bite you. Like, we're opposites. Yeah. And so like, there's got to be a little bit of a middle ground. I think that like, I need more data to slow down a little bit on the trigger. Because I'm just like, hey, we'll figure it out. Like, let's go. Yeah. Opportunity, take it. Let's run. And so,
it was funny because I was talking to Jordan today. He works with Milwaukee Tool, and he's in through like some of the OP stuff. He's doing string trimmers and some of the snowblower battery, blowers and stuff like that. And I mentioned to him, I said, it's kind of cool. Like, he said, what are your impressions of Milwaukee, like as a company? And I said, it's really cool that everybody seems like kind of like a family, but it also seems like everybody's kind of here. Yeah. Nobody's like way up here and then it kind of stair steps down. And he said, inside of Milwaukee, he said that's one of the top things is he said, in other companies, the boss is up here and you don't speak to the boss, you don't talk to the boss unless you're summoned, basically. And he said, at Milwaukee, he said, literally, we've had the boss come down to us and go, do you think we should do this? And he's like, sure. And the guy goes, okay, let's do it. And it's like, he goes, that's a lot of pressure to put on us. Yeah, yeah. But it's also a cool opportunity because
valuing your team.
Yeah, he has that faith and he has that trust in these guys to say, I trust that your input is going to make us money. Yeah. But then also, I think that's a learning thing too. If it's something where they need to tweak a few things, they're going to find that out, and it's going to be that like hard time to make that person even better inside of that company.
Yeah, 100%. And we mentioned, we kind of breezed through the Milwaukee culture earlier. I want to come back to that before we wrap up. Like, that is something that I looked at since we got here. Like, the stuff on the walls in the plant tour today. I think you did the plant tour last year.
I did.
So you didn't do that today, but like today was our first plant tour that I've done with Milwaukee, which was cool. Some of it I was like, oh, okay, wake me up a little bit. The batteries and the cells, I'm like, this is not for me. I'm not an engineer. Give me the equipment, let me go to work with it, I'll get excited. I don't need the stuff inside. But it was cool, like walking in there and seeing just the things like, and just like the operations, everything was so well labeled. Everything had its own place. Like, they had company culture on the walls, they had signs, they had posters. They had a sign up there with like all 10,000 people that worked in that building was on that sign. Like, each name was on there. It was super cool. They had their own cafeteria in there. Like, the culture was just amazing. And it's what I was telling the guy over there earlier was, I feel like everybody, I don't know if you heard me say this, everybody that I see is like sub 35.
Yeah, it's a lot of young people.
Like young. Like building a big brand, like a really big brand. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, where are all the 50 and 60-year-olds? Like, who are your bosses? Yeah. But I mean, it's like, I think it's peer led. Like, they're growing together. Yeah. and there's not a top-down approach. Like the org chart is like they all report to each other. Like they have their direct reports, but it's like they work hand in hand.
Yeah.
And we see that here. Like we see that from our contacts here and like managers at high levels all the way down to like entry-level salespeople.
Yeah.
Are all working the same field.
Yeah. I mean, it almost looks like, and this is like the analogy everybody uses, but like a beehive or an ant, like an anthill. And it's kind of funny because like I said, that's the analogy everybody uses.
Yeah.
But it's cool because you do look at it and like I remember last year when I went on the tour. I don't know if it was the same way for you this year, but there were still people working. They were finishing up their day, and it almost looked like just normal. Like there was no disorganization. There was no odd things.
It was another day in the office.
It was a couple guys walking down the hallway talking about what they were doing over here. The computers were still lit up with like, the dimensions of this tool that they were producing and the blueprints and all this kind of stuff. And it was just like, it just looked like, I can only imagine, what they say, there's 1,100 employees that were there tonight?
Yeah, in that one building.
I can only imagine 1,100 people in one building that honestly wasn't huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a straight structure. 1,100 people inside that building working simultaneously.
Yeah, the amount of things they're pushing forward.
Yeah, and there's no problems that go on. It's just it runs smoothly, and everybody just keeps doing their job, and it rolls out. Yeah,
and here's like the problems that do happen. They work themselves out because they have a good team around them.
Exactly.
Right? Like, crap's gonna happen, things are gonna happen, but it's like how you work through those problems. And so the leadership that I've seen and been around has been something to really be like amazed with. It's been very cool.
Yeah, especially when you take, like us, we're both business owners, taking that back and learning, even though, like I said, we're here for the tools, we're also here because we're business owners. We see business stuff.
That's what I look at.
And we're like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, I'm going to start implementing that because I want to see my company do that.
The entire time walking around today, I was just looking at, like, labels on the floor, where this goes, how things are organized, like, they had their eye wash station on the wall, their first aid kit. I'm like, these are the things that I want. Like, this is where we go when we build a shop. This is how I'm doing things. And so, and of course, it's all red. It's like just there's something in your brain just triggers when you see all the red. It's like, wow, this looks so good. Pack outs everywhere, storage systems everywhere.
Oh yeah. You drive by and like all the windows. Everybody has pack outs
in the window. I saw that leaving it on the bus. Really, really cool.
Which I mean, honestly, wouldn't you love?
I would flex on it too. Yeah.
Decked out in your office.
Yeah, I mean they would pack out coolers, like there's stuff everywhere. So, awesome stuff, man. Well, is there anything we missed? Like, I think it's really productive, like really fun conversation.
I don't think so. I mean, like we said, it's kind of like it's a good. You brought points to me that kind of like opened up my eyes a little bit too. Yeah. And then just for the viewers also and us to get that company culture. Yeah. And I mean, like we said, seeing this 1,100 people. Yeah. And they all work simultaneously. They all work in unison, and everybody's all here, and everybody works for each other.
I'll leave it with this. The reason that works is because they have the same mission and vision in mind.
That's exactly right.
The leadership shares the vision. The team implements through the mission. And like when that happens on all fronts, things are going to roll. It's not that hard.
Exactly.
Things are going to move forward.
100%.
So, all right, guys. From Milwaukee, Wisconsin, we're signing off. I'm sitting here looking at the Fiserv Forum.
Yeah.
Milwaukee Bucks Arena. Very cool spot downtown. Where can we follow you, man?
I'm on Instagram. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Matthews Mowing. So.
Go watch him mow some orange mowers or something. I'm a green guy, but we won't get
it's cat's eye gold. Don't get it wrong.
Oh, here we go. It's time to sign off, guys. All right, Matt, thank you, buddy.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you sitting down and chatting for a little bit. Guys, thank you for watching. If you're listening, thank you for supporting us. Leave us a big 5-star rating and review. I hope the audio turned out all right. I don't know. First time recording with these mics like this out in a big open environment, so we will see. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a big thumbs up and a subscribe there to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. Without any further ado, that's wrap this one up, guys. Oh, wow. Well, I mean, on the way out like that, there's no way that didn't just mess up all the mics. Without any further ado, I'm going to wrap this one up and look forward to catching up with everybody here on the next one.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green podcast. It is an honor to have you listening, and we hope you receive valuable advice to help take your business to the next level. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.